All right, 40 days through the Bible, day 19. This was Psalms 1 through 50. And the idea that I wanted to talk about this morning is the fear of the Lord. This is something that we don't really talk about a lot. Most people, about the only thing that they've ever thought through with it is, like, oh, I know in Proverbs it says, like, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. But in Psalm 25, it says, "Who then are those who fear the Lord? He will instruct them in the ways they should choose. They will spend their days in prosperity, and their descendants will inherit the land. The Lord confides in those who fear him, and he makes his covenant known to them." And so you combine all these things and you're like, dang, like the fear of the Lord is pretty important, right? It's the beginning of knowledge, right? He will instruct those in the way who fear him in the ways they should choose to go. They will spend their days in prosperity, and their descendants will inherit the land. Like, these are pretty big promises attached to having a proper view of the fear of the Lord. And so the question then becomes, like, do I fear the Lord? And do I fear the Lord properly, or do I fear the Lord improperly, right? Because obviously we could, like, fearing the Lord has such a connotation to it that could be negative, where it's like, I could fear the Lord in a wrong way. So how do I know, one, if I do fear the Lord, and then two, how do I know if I fear the Lord in the proper way? And that's where I love the second part of this passage, where it says, "The Lord confides in those who fear him. He makes his covenant known to them." So the way that you can know if you do properly fear the Lord is just asking yourself the question of, does the Lord confide in you? When was the last time the Lord confided in you? When was the last time he told you something specific to you? Even if it was insight into a biblical passage, he gave you an insight that you haven't ever heard somebody talk about before, right? You were just delving into his word, you were studying, and you were pouring out your heart to him, and you were opening your heart to him, and then he confided something in you that you didn't know before, right? If that has happened, then that is a sign that you have a proper fear of the Lord, and all these other things will come from it. That's the beginning of wisdom, and he'll tell you the way you should choose, to go, and you'll spend your days in prosperity, and your descendants will inherit the land, right? All of these things you can reasonably expect to be things that manifest in your life at some point, because you have a reasonable belief that you fear the Lord, right? So this question just for the day of, like, when was the last time that the Lord confided in you, and what was it that he confided in you? And that's a really just telling and revealing question, right? So sit down and ask yourself that day. It's like, what was the last thing that the Lord confided in me? And if I can't reasonably say, like, I'd like, what? The Lord doesn't confide in me. Like, what are you talking about? He doesn't, like, tell me things and whatever, right? Then go back and be like, okay, well, so then do I really fear the Lord? Because this is the evidence of fearing the Lord. It's that he confides in me and he makes his covenant known to me, right? So if that isn't happening, do I have either no fear of the Lord or a skewed fear of the Lord? Like, I fear the Lord, but it's not actually in the proper way. And ask him to reveal that to you, right? Because this is a really big thing. Like, fear of the Lord leads to all these other great things. So yeah. Just today, ask yourself, like, when was the last time he confided in me? And as a good reminder to yourself, if you can think of the time, like, write down, what did he confide in you? And remind yourself of what he confided in you the last time that he spoke something to you. And if he didn't, then ask yourself, okay, where am I at with fearing the Lord? Because this is a big thing, and this is something that I need to get right. So that's all I have for this one. See you in the next one.